Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by and for returning to the old world. Thought it'd be fun today just to have a quick look at some of the rumours flying around regarding the Warhammer Old World game. These certainly seem to be becoming more and more prevalent now, with the lack of hard information being provided by Games Workshop for quite some time. I'm absolutely no way suggesting any of these rumours are true, and as you'll see, an awful lot of them do directly contradict each other. So just be an interesting look at some of the ideas that are floating around out there on the internet. So what are these rumours? Well, the first rumour, sadly, Warhammer the Old World won't be happening. The reason behind this is Games Workshop are going through financial difficulties. What do we make of this rumour? Well, with the cost of living crisis currently ongoing and the situation getting worse, rising energy bills, rising food bills, things like that, let's face it, luxury items are going to be one of the first things people trim from their budgets. And Games Workshop products and hobby stuff related to Games Workshop have never been cheap. So it's understandable why they might see a decline in sales, but we've also got to see that in the context that during the COVID lockdowns they had a very well published period where they did very, very well. Now, I've not seen any accounts which suggest that Games Workshop are doing badly. Maybe they're out there, maybe they aren't, but it also kind of feels like this might be largely a piece of speculation, particularly when we start to look at some of the other rumours which directly contradict this concept. What's the next rumour? Well, the next rumour is that Warhammer the Old World will be released next year. Now, this is tied in with the release of the Horus Heresy box set this year, and the idea that Games Workshop will only do one major release in 2022. It also looks at the fact that Warhammer 40k 10th edition is said to be delayed, meaning that there's a gap in 2023 for Warhammer the Old World to come out. Now, if this is true, I'd expect Warhammer community to start putting more information up about Warhammer the Old World, certainly towards the end of this year and into the start of next, to really start building the hype train going. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens and whether that gives any credibility to this particular rumour. Again, in contradiction to rumour 2, we've got rumour 3, which is saying actually the game's going to come out towards the end of 2022. Someone on the internet said that somebody told them that Games Workshop had told their staff in stores that they're not going to be able to take leave for a period of time towards the end of this year because they're preparing for a major release, which is Warhammer the Old World. Now, it's widely stated, / I guess widely known, that Games Workshop do tend to try to keep their staff in stores at times of major releases, but they're also not particularly out there when it comes to telling people what those releases are going to be. There's been a lot of noise recently around crackdown on leaks, so why they would give staff such an early indication of what's going on when they can just tell their customers and it gets out there on the internet is slightly beyond me. I'm not convinced. I think either someone's made something up, or more likely there's been maybe a misinterpretation of something that's going on. Now, if the game does come out and I'm wrong on this, absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to see the game released, around Christmas time, just in time to get everything on your list to Santa, but I'm not buying it at this stage. Rumour number 4, well, there's not going to be any new ranges, just a few new figures for the box set. This rumour says that the cost of producing full ranges for all the factions is just going to be too expensive at the moment, even if they're looking at just reactivating some of the old lines. So the only new stuff available will be in the box on release, with Games Workshop looking at sales to determine what to put out going forward. Now, designing and producing a range isn't going to be a quick process, so there'd need to be a fairly advanced thinking on and preparation to make sure that Games Workshop are ready really to take advantage of sales. So if the game does particularly well and they decide they want to support it, if there's a big gap between the game coming out and then the support becoming available, you're going to lose the hype train, you're going to lose the crest of the wave. So to get all that preparation done and to have models on the verge of being able to release if they need to make a go no go decision, that means money will have been spent. So it seems strange that you wouldn't release something to try and at least recoup some of that money that's been done, because ultimately the profits are in the models being sold rather than generating a load of drawings and molds ready to go. Now, the releases might be limited, but it would, as I say, make sense to offer some support, not only for the reasons mentioned, but also generic fantasy models. They're increasingly easy to find from other providers now, and there's also the rise of 3D printing. Once customers are lost, they're harder to get back, so I'd expect some kind of support rather than nothing at all. The final rumour I've come across, rumour number 5, is looking at made to order, and that ranges are going to be available for a limited period of time on a made to order basis. This has the advantage, obviously, for Games Workshop, is they are going to know exactly how many models they need to cast for each particular order. You get so long to put your order in, and then they start making them. So there's zero waste, really good for Games Workshop. This does stop the game being accessible to new players. So if, for example, I'm a new player that doesn't have an existing collection to draw upon, and I want to play Wood Elves, for example, if I miss the period of time that the models are on made to order, because I've only come into the game after that point, then I'm going to be disappointed. I'm either going to move to another provider for my models, or I may well just drop out of the game altogether. Equally, if I'm that new person and I'm available to spend money during the made to order period, but I can't afford a whole army, which, let's face it, most people I don't think are going to be able to drop the quite substantial amount of money needed to buy a whole army in one go, then knowing that these models are only going to be available for a limited time, I might be reluctant to spend any money as opposed to some money. So again, just going down that route doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense to me. Possibly would make sense if the concept is there's going to be made to orders for a series of more specialist models to support a core range, even if that core range is again a lot of reheated models from 6th, 7th, 8th edition Warhammer. So you can get the core models that you need, but then the occasional special character, maybe some of the funkier lords, heroes, monsters, stuff like that. They might be more on the made to order front. That would perhaps make a little bit more sense to me. So, that being said, there's a number of rumours, as I say, out there, a lot of them contradictory, which is, in the way of rumours, interesting, means that at most one of them can be true. They probably all contain errors to a certain degree. I may have misinterpreted some of the rumours as well, but I think it's always fun, particularly, as I say, in the lack of hard information, to try and just see what's out there, really, and what people's thoughts are. So, have you heard any good rumours about the game? What do you think's going to happen? Have your say in the comments if you want to. But overall, I'm Return to the Old World. Thanks for dropping by, and have a great day.